Just kind of giving you our thoughts today. It's right now, it is March 23rd. It's a Monday. This will probably be out inside the next 24 to 48 hours, but just in case something changes overnight and it completely throws this out of context. But, as of Monday, that's kind of where we are. We're taking it day by day, week by week. This is going to be a really fluid situation, and, we'll kind of just see, how it's going to happen. I don't know if you want to throw in your 2 cents before we just start getting into it.
Yeah, no, I think I can't disagree with that. I think anyone that says that they have a crystal ball, and I don't think anyone is, but
No.
the impact to us and our business, and we're going to get into it a little bit more. I think time will tell because we're still 7 days, 8 days away from the first of the month when rent's due.
Yep.
So I think we're going to give you our thoughts, opinions, and we've been talking to managers and we've been getting updates. We've been speaking to everybody in the business, but I think time will tell, but we're gonna, we'll put our 2 cents out there like everybody else, and I think it'll be helpful. I think people will like it.
Yeah, for sure. So, reached out to a bunch of people in our network that that are following the podcast and us and stuff like that. Ask some questions, and one of the questions, and I think a good way to kick it off will be quasi question, quasi what we've been telling all our investors and stuff. But obviously, like you said, first of the month's coming up. Everyone's on their mind, collections, and our tenants going to pay. So why don't you kick it off? What have we been discussing internally on collections, on rent? What have we been telling investors? What have we been doing to kind of prepare for, 7 days from now, a week from now, and the first couple weeks of April?
Yeah. So I think, the easy answer is, when it first happened, we're local to probably one of the worst situations in the United States. I think that, we're probably on the front line. I think that the rest of the country will feel it 10, 14, 30 days.
You're talking about New
us.
York, right?
Yeah, New York.
Okay.
So as everybody knows, we don't own anything here.
Mm-hmm.
The one property we own is a small mobile home park with all retirees that basically pay with Social Security and fixed income. So we've actually already collected 100% of our rent for April. They mailed checks in. So that's the only immediate impact we have in New York. But across all sites, we've done what everybody else has been doing, shutting down amenity space, virtual tours, only emergency maintenance. We've put all the precautions in place that the CDC has recommended. But for all our properties right now, we are operating business as usual because there's been no lockdowns. There's been no immediate, anything like that. So we're still showing apartments. We're still touring apartments, virtually, not physical connections, but we're doing, virtual tours. I think there's only like 19 cases in Jacksonville. I know that off the top of my head. Ohio's been hit a little bit harder, but right now it's business as usual. I just got off the phone with our manager in Jacksonville, and we're still, we're still leasing apartments. We're trying to move people in before a potential shutdown or anything that happens. But right now, we're doing what the CDC recommends on all sites. We're anticipating collections to be way less than a normal month, but we are expecting people, and we're requiring people pay until further notice.
Yeah. I think just quickly break down where all our properties are so people understand what areas we're talking about.
Yeah, so we have a property in Wilmington, North Carolina. We have properties in Jacksonville, Florida, about 1,000 units in Jacksonville, about 1,000 units in Columbus, Ohio. We have a property in Mobile, Alabama. We have a student housing project in Tennessee, right outside of Nashville. That's it.
South Carolina.
Oh, and yes, we have a property outside of Greenville, South Carolina that's under due diligence, and that has been delayed. That should be something we could talk about. That'll be a fun one. But in the midst of contract negotiations and contract signing, we had to put a day-by-day pause. But we can get into that a little later.
Yeah, we can. No, I think it's really interesting to see what's going to happen. I think we were talking this a little bit before we started recording. It's some people are definitely freaking out way more and are expecting 0% collections, and I think some people are significantly less worried. I think I definitely fall closer to the significantly less worried because, what we were just talking about is, what is unemployment realistically going to drop to? Is it going to drop to 5? What is it now? Like 3% before this all started, right? Or like 3.5, 3, 2, 3, 4%, whatever it was. Was it going to drop to 10, 20, like 30%? That means, the rest of everybody else should theoretically still be working, even if it's from home. So that would mean they should be able to pay. I guess the worry is if they're putting a eviction halt across all these areas, how does that affect people who are still getting paid, wanting to pay rent and thinking they can get away with it? So I guess it's a little bit of a mix of two. I'm a little bit more of the way of like, I think if somebody can pay, they're not going to want to get into any sort of like credit situation or have to owe it in the future. They're going to pay because it's where they live. And I think a lot of tenants understand that, you just pay rent. Do I think necessarily it's going to be the easiest collections in the world? No, probably not. But, a lot of people are still working right now. And a lot of people are getting relief as well. There's a lot of companies out there that are offering a ton of relief. So I'm a little bit more optimistic than a lot of people. But I am curious to see how it's actually going to play out.
My emotions have gone up and down, right? I was walking, I was taking a walk around the block and I'm like, wow, there's a chance that, we have $100 million worth of loans, like nobody pays rent, right? Like
True.
that's something, you lose a little bit of sleep over. But then on the same time, I don't disagree. Listen, I think that there's a really good article in CNBC and, we're going to get out our newsletter this week and it'll be in there. And I recommend everybody, look at it. It shows basically bear and bull markets going back to the Depression. Do I think we're in the Great Depression? No, I think that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Do I think that tenants are going to take advantage of the situation? Of course. I mean,
sure.
In our space in particular, the B and C class product, the tenants are going to take advantage of it. And we're preparing for it. We're expecting it. I know one thing that I've done for the last week is we've gone out and I've brainstormed a million ideas. There was an article that I got that Publix is looking to hire over 1,000 people in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I sent that to my manager and I said, and our manager's father, or our manager's father's best friend is like the in charge of human resources for Publix. I sent her that link and I said, listen, tell all the tenants if they get hired at Publix while Publix is looking to hire, we'll waive their April rent or their May rent. So we're trying to help our tenants that are going to claim they can't get a job or they've been fired. But, we also rent to police officers, firefighters, retail workers,
military.
We rent to jobs that are still working.
Yeah.
Do I feel bad for, the short order cook at McDonald's? Yeah. Do I feel bad for the waitress? Of course I do. And I understand those situations and I'm not trying to diminish it, but we're going out of our way with different approaches, to the point of sign a renewal now, get your April, pay your April rent, we'll waive your May. Mm-hmm. Or, thinking about creative ways to use their security deposits to stipend their rents and then have their security deposits build it up over the next 12 months. But we're anticipating the worst, preparing ourselves for that. But I think that we're going above and beyond, trying to work with our tenants and help them and guide them and point them in the right direction. Because listen, there's still going to be delivery drivers. I'm getting a package every day from Amazon.
Yep.
I'm picking it up with a tongue, but yeah, I mean, listen, you have to expect the worst, but you hope that people are good by nature. And then they pay. And that's all we can do. And anyone in this space that thinks they know what they're talking about, they're wrong. They have no idea. There's been nothing like this over the last 20 years. I'm in a mastermind group where people talking about bird flu and swine flu and all these other things. It was not like this. And I didn't think, I think there's going to be a little bit of work. I think it's going to be a kick in the teeth, but you gotta get up. So, we'll go through it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I think a succinct way to kind of put it is, we're in the middle of a lot of different groups, right? The banks, the tenants, the managers, the people we employ, the tenants, our investors. We're just trying to find a way to help mitigate any losses that all those people are going to suffer, right? Banks are going to suffer a little bit. Tenants are going to suffer by loss of jobs. Managers are going to suffer from extra work and headaches and dealing with tenants. Investors are probably going to suffer, whether it's just, halting distributions or lower cash flow or, just worry about what's going to happen. So I think we're doing everything we can to try to come up with a solution that helps everybody. And just remember that, this is where people live. And then this is also, people's, money and capital and stuff like that too. So it's not easy by any means. And that's why I said it's fluid. So it'll be interesting to see, kind of where it goes. And I think it'll be interesting to see over the next couple weeks how some of the debt relief stuff that we've seen on the residential side trickle over to the commercial side, and how much they're going to be willing to work and forgive, and what kind of stuff they're going to roll out to kind of help other commercial real estate owners.
I think it's going to be interesting. It's definitely what's the word? Not exciting, but anticipate. You're sitting on the edge of your seat. It's like an exciting feeling. Sort of, what is going to be, what is going to be the solution? Because there's a potential it can get pretty bad. But I do also have to caveat, and this is not just because it's what we do, but I personally believe that in a downturn that could potentially be on the horizon or not, I besides sitting in cash under your mattress, a good submarket, a well underwritten, solid property. I can't. I don't know where I'd rather be with something. With the stock market down 30%. Where I'd want to be is in a physical asset that's been in a very good submarket that's sitting there poised for maybe not the next 30, 60, 90 days, but the next 36 months.